Students, in the context of our telephone network, we'll talk about another concept now, and that concept is of a local access transport area, or a lata. Students, a lata can be a small or a large metropolitan area network. Students, a small state can have one lata, or a large state can have more than one latas in it as well. Students, these latas can even overlap states. So one state, a part of one state can be a part of one lata, and a part of a different state or a neighboring state can also be a part of the same lata as well. So a lata can actually span between states as well. Now students, when we are talking about the services offered by telephone companies within one lata, we call them intra-lata services. And when we refer to the services that are offered by companies which operate between two latas, we call them inter-lata services. Intra is within a lata and inter is between two different latas. Students, वो telephone companies जो कि services provide करती हैं within a lata, we call them the local exchange carriers, or LECs. And students, the telephone companies or the companies that provide services between two different latas, we call them inter-exchange carriers, or IXCs. Now students, on the slide you can see switching office concept in a lata. So in the case of a lata, there are three different types of components. The first one is a local loop. As you can see, you've got a local loop that connects your end subscriber to the local central office, or what we call as a end office. Students, we've also got some tandem offices. Your end offices also contain switches, and your tandem offices, they also contain tandem switches. And students, a call in this particular case, it can be completed by using only end offices. For example, if A out here wants to call B out here, then this call can be completed by using only the end offices, and your tandem office is not really required. And we will say that this call between A and B is actually toll-free. Now students, there may be other instances where the call has to go through a tandem office or an intra-lata toll office, and we say that our toll is charged. For example, if this A now wants to talk to C here, then in this particular case, the call will be switched by the end office to the tandem office to the switch office, the end office for C, and then it will end. So this is our path in the case of a toll call, and we'll say that the call from A to C was a toll call. Now students, your LECs, which are your local exchange carriers, which provide intra-lata services, these LECs interact with your IXCs, inter-exchange carriers, which provide inter-lata services by using a particular switching office, which is called as a POP, or points of presence. Students, the slide actually shows you how this communication happens. The LECs that provide services inside the lata, they must provide access for each subscriber. For example, if this is a lata, in this case, the LEC that is controlling this lata, it must provide the connections for each of the subscribers to the POPs, the IXC POPs that we have in that particular lata. So students, in this case, let's suppose we have got a subscriber A, which is connected to the end office in this first lata. It wants to talk to a subscriber B, which is present in a different lata out here. Students, this subscriber will go and talk to its end office. So this end office is controlled by your LEC, or local exchange carrier. This local central office or end office will then switch the call to the tandem office. Once again, this is also controlled by your local LEC, which then, depending upon what specific carrier or inter-exchange carrier do you want to use to complete your call, it will select a POP. Let's suppose it selects this particular POP that's connected to a particular inter-exchange carrier. This POP will switch your call to the toll office, which belongs to inter-exchange carrier A. It will travel on to the inter-exchange carrier network, and this inter-exchange carrier network will have a POP in every single letter. So it will throw your call onto this POP in a different letter where B resides. The call will be handed over to your LEC, B's local exchange carrier again. Tandem office will then hand it over to the end office that has got this subscriber B, and the call will ultimately be handed over to B. And students, as you can see, this concept of the point of presence, it allows the different LECs, there was a LEC here and there was a LEC here, to interact with your IXCs, and all of this is done to allow the subscribers to actually communicate with each other.